What's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage, and I am interviewing Brittany Hodak for the second time. What's up, Brittany?
Hey, how's it going, Dave?
It's going good. Got a lot of great feedback on that first interview that we did, and then I've also had a number of people reach out to me. They saw you at the Housing Wire Engage event. I heard you crushed it from stage.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So if anybody from the Mortgage Coach community is watching Brittany for the first time, she is the founder of a company called Superfan Company, and she has consulted with a lot of large retailers, a lot of celebrities. When I asked Brittany who she thought would be most interesting to you guys, she said Walmart. And I like that because let's face it, if you are helping Walmart, big box retailer, create super fans and make the most of super fans, I think that's valuable for the mortgage industry. And you said Dolly Parton, and I love that.
I just love Dolly. I'm a super fan of Dolly. So that for me is one of my proudest professional moments, is the few times that I've gotten to collaborate with Dolly.
Oh, that's cool. Give us one more celebrity that we might know the name, whether it's in music, movies, just anyone else that you think would be interesting to
us. Katy Perry?
You nailed it. Yeah, I think Katy Perry is pretty big in the mortgage space. In fact, I think she sang at one of our events. She was awesome.
Really? That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was incredible. So I want to have a conversation on two things. One, I watched that podcast that you did, or video blog that you did with Justin Tucker, and I loved it. I mean, I watched it before I went to bed, and then I thought about it in the morning. So I want to make sure we talk about that. And then I also want to get any takeaways you have. It's 2 months since your first interview as a mortgage coach, and any takeaways that you've had in the mortgage industry, whether it came from Engage or the fact that you're just following our group more than you're following it, well, you never even knew about our group. So let's start with that, and then we'll close out on the podcast takeaways.
Yeah. One of the things that I have loved so much from being part of the group is seeing how helpful everybody is. It's such a collaborative community, and I just love the resource that you and all the members have created for people saying, hey, I'm stuck, help me out, or hey, how would you guys handle this, or hey, how can I position this a little bit differently to win? And I love the fact that these agents who sometimes don't even know each other than seeing the name in the Facebook group are jumping in and saying, hey, have you tried this, or what about this? And I just think that's such a huge testament to how great the tool is and how amazing this community is of people who know that, the ships, what is it, the saying, all ships ride with the tide?
Yeah, no doubt. And let's face it, guys, the more you give, the more you get. And I am super proud of our community. Not only is it a very successful mortgage professionals in it, but it's amazing how much people help. And call out to everybody watching this. If you are not tuned into the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind Facebook group, check it out. And if you're not tuned into it, whether you're either asking a question or helping someone or just sharing a success story, get in the game. So I like that.
Yeah, there's great tips too that aren't even always mortgage related. Like I love when people are just sharing sort of best marketing practices and best LinkedIn practices. And, I've gleaned some really great information that I've been able to apply to my day-to-day marketing just from people saying, hey, here's a really great article I read, or here's something really cool that I've been trying. So it's a really fantastic group that everybody should plug into.
Good. Well, thank you for being active in the group. We appreciate it. And it's a gift to have you. What else? What else has come across your desk or hit your mind when it comes to the mortgage industry?
I think it's so fascinating because all of the mortgage professionals are working in an industry that's changing so quickly and being influenced by so many outside factors. So to me, just the level of attention to staying on top of trends, continuing education, figuring out how to constantly, revise and revamp and refine what it is that you do to be more helpful to your customers day after day to day is really inspiring to me, because you don't see this in a lot of industries, right? A lot of people sort of, they have their industry and they're trying to do the same thing that they've been doing for years, and they're trying to do their job this year the same way they did it last year. And I think the recognition that there's the need to stay on top of changes and the willingness to learn and grow that I've seen in members of the group and also several of the incredible mortgage professionals that I've met, it's just really inspiring, because you don't get that in other sort of high growth, high change industries.
Yeah, no, I there's no doubt in our community that's the case. And I think also you're kind of surfing mountaintops. You know, our community going to the Engage event, the people that are going to those events, the people that are engaged are the people that want to be the best, you know,
Exactly.
but I think it's an interesting takeaway that you have that perspective. Anything else, any big takeaways from the Engage event? Just something that caught your mind or you thought was important to bring to the mortgage coach community?
You know, one of the things that I was so pleasantly surprised by was how many people after the Engage Marketing keynote came up to me and said, I'm so glad that you talked about the fact that a lot of people are intimidated by new tools. I thought I was the only one who was intimidated by Instagram, or, you know, I didn't want to raise my hand and say, like, I don't think I'm using my CRM the best way, but I'm just not sure how. So it was so refreshing to me, again, to that same point before of people being willing to learn and people saying, I want to do better. I want to know more. I know what I don't know. And then I also know that there are things that I don't know what I don't know. And so that to me was so great for people to say, you know, it's okay in this community. It's like a safe space to say, I'm not even sure where to start on LinkedIn. I know I have a long way to go. I know I'm not using it, you know, effectively, but like, I don't even know where to start. Where do I start? So that to me was a great takeaway to see from agents from, you know, all different sizes of practices.
Love that. So let's transition to Justin Tucker's video cast. By the way, remind me of the name of it. It's like evading
The soapbox.
The soapbox. And I think he kicks it off like the goal is to make marketing suck less. Anybody who doesn't, you know who Justin Tucker is, you should know who this guy is. You should follow him on Facebook. You know, he's someone that I always learn from, someone I always laugh and learn from. So that's what I love about
I am for
this
sure a Justin Tucker super fan. I love both Justins, Justin Tucker and Justin Stutz, two of my absolute favorite. Definitely two of my favorite Justins.
Yeah, Justin times two. So Justin is the Chief Marketing Officer for WFG Title. And so they have this podcast where they watch a commercial, and I guess they watched a Chick-fil-A commercial with you. And this particular Chick-fil-A commercial was a family just talking about why they love Chick-fil-A and how great it is. And you guys watched it together, and then you talked about it. So a couple things, anyone watching this, Brittany, myself, or Justin, will put a link down below so you can watch it. It's 15 minutes of value. I promise you. I watched it. I thought about it. And Brittany and I are going to talk about it right now. So Brittany, let's do this. That's a 15-minute interview. It's okay to share some of the things that you had in that, like there were some big ideas. But then anything you didn't say, it was only 15 minutes. Is there anything you didn't say that you wanted to say after watching that Chick-fil-A commercial?
No, you know, for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, it's the Chick-fil-A campaign. There have been several spots, people may have seen them on TV or online, where they're spotlighting franchisee stories from the perspective of customers. So customers sort of raising their hand saying, here's how a particular Chick-fil-A manager or franchisee or employee or whatever went above and beyond for me. And I was afraid maybe I came across a little negative Nancy in the podcast. Like, I'm glad that you didn't think that was the case, because I certainly don't want anybody to think that I don't like customer testimonials. I just think that the power of a customer testimonial is when it's being shared by the customer. That's when it's authentic. That's when it's going to resonate. That's when people are going to take notice. Anytime that testimonial is being shared by the recipient of it, it becomes a little bit like marketing-y to me. It's a little bit like, let's say, Dave, I were to give you a gift, right? You get that gift. You tell all your friends, like, I got this great gift. Oh my gosh, look what Brittany gave me. Look what Brittany gave me. Look what Brittany gave me. People are going to be like, wow, that's really cool. This gift is really amazing. And that was so nice of Brittany. If I, Brittany, give you, Dave, a gift, and then I go tell people, hey, look what I gave Dave. I gave Dave a gift. I gave Dave a gift. People are going to be like, weirdo, why are you telling me that? Like, let Dave talk about the gift that he got, right? So I feel like the marketing testimonial thing is a little bit the same. Like, if you are the recipient of an amazing testimonial or a great story from one of your customers, that's amazing. And the way to capitalize on that is to thank that customer very sincerely and engage with them where they're at in that moment. Not to say like, oh, okay, I went above and beyond for this customer. Now I'm going to try to turn it into a marketing campaign and tell 150 other people who don't know that customer all about this great thing that I did.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to do it that's on point. I guess I want to give my color because I hope you guys watch the Chick-fil-A commercial. And this is just my subjective opinion, but I just think when things are too produced, too scripted, I mean, it was a skit, it was a skit that was filmed. It just loses the emotional value. There's a word, I don't know how to spell it, but it's called verisimilitude. You guys should Wikipedia, Google it, and it just has to do with like believability. And you could call it cheesy. It's one of the reasons why when I do interviews, anybody who watches my interviews, you notice there's some interviews that we edit and we put stuff in and we put bumpers on. But I mean, I even argue with my marketing team. No, we're not going to put bumpers on that. We're not going to overly edit it because it loses the verisimilitude and it loses the authenticity and the transparency. And so that's why I'm not a fan of that. I just think, especially for Chick-fil-A, as great as they are, and they are good. I mean, they are a great fast food place. I love their values. I love their culture. I love everything about it. No, don't particularly think that this is the greatest spend to build their brand. But I mean, that's my subjective opinion. And so, well, what else? Like knowing the loan officers that we have in our community, and you follow us, what are some great ways for them to play it forward? Get good feedback, and then leverage that feedback. Because there's no doubt we both agree, collect testimonials and promote testimonials. But what do you think are some of the best ways to do that?
Yeah, so absolutely collect testimonials. The key with testimonials is trying to get them as soon as possible after the experience, right? While it's still fresh in people's minds. And make sure you have all of those somewhere. And there are some great partners in the spaces that people can use. You were talking before we went online about one of your favorites.
Social survey. And I will do my shout out and debrief around how Social Survey how Social Survey and Mortgage Coach, I think we do it right. But I'll save that for a few minutes from now.
Okay, yeah, so make sure whether it's Social Survey or collecting them on your own, make sure that you have access to them. You want all of them in an easy to go to place so that if somebody ever says, let me see 15 testimonials, bam, 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 you've got them. You're not like digging through old emails, trying to like, oh, I think I have one in a text message. I think I have a voicemail somewhere from a few years ago. So make sure you have a system, you have a process, whether it's Social Survey or something else, something that you're doing every single time as a step in your process. So you're never forgetting to collect the testimonial. You're never going back 4 months later saying like, oh, I forgot to do the Social Survey on that. Like make sure that you're making it part of your everyday process. And do I think it's okay to share a really great testimonial or a really great result? Yeah, occasionally. But the thing to remember, if you're sharing it, for instance, on your social networks, these are people who already know you. If somebody's connected with you on Instagram or on LinkedIn or on Facebook, it's because they already know you. And so there's a pretty good chance that they already think you're good, right? Like they already like you. They don't need social proof from a stranger who they're not connected with. Where the real value becomes, let's say Robert gives you a testimonial. What you want to do is connect with Robert's friends and family, right? Because that means a lot to the people who are connected to Robert. It means a lot more to the people who know him than the people who know you. Nielsen did a survey a few years ago about the power of social influence. And one of my favorite stats when it comes to referral marketing, 92% of people trust a recommendation from a friend or family member. 92%. That's a huge number, right? Way more than every other form of advertising. So the real value of testimonials is to get referrals to the people that are connected to the person giving you the referral. That's what people need to focus on doing rather than saying, I'm gonna just take this call out quote and share it on my social media. Now, with that said, you certainly can share your testimonials, especially on your website. It is a great place to do them. Like I am all for having testimonials all over your website, because when somebody's coming to your website, they're coming to learn more about you. Right? That's like a billboard for you and your business and what it is that you do. So any contextual information that you provide, great. On your socials, tone it down a little bit, because this is where people are coming to get value, right? It's not all about you when they're on Facebook or Instagram and you're just coming up in their feed. It's about their feed. And the last thing you want is for somebody to unfollow you because you're being spammy or overly promotional. Save the promotion for your website, for places that people are coming to learn more about you.
So I want you to drill down a little more on this, but I do have a few thoughts. I know when I do see them share it on their own page, I like it when they, they're putting some color around it. They're framing it. They're like, it's part of the story and they're telling the whole story. Or maybe like, hey, it's a refi market right now. And so you want people to call you because you want to provide a total cost analysis and help them make a good decision. And you're like, your story's selling. You're not just, here's a testimonial. So my opinion, now here's what I also know. The folks at Social Survey are experts, they're pros. So, listen to their best practices, like follow their best practices. That's what they want you to do. Now, here's what I love about ours. So I'm going to a little bit of self-promotion. The total cost analysis, it's where you're actively selling. Like when you're giving people their options and you're educating them based on their personalized information, like based off your goals, based off of what you told me, here's 2 or 3 options that I think are really good for you. So that's like an active selling, active influence, active educational moment to have social proof at the bottom of it. That's why we didn't put it at the top, because you're here to give advice. So let's start with the advice. But I do want within that active sales conversation, let's put a testimonial, that's automated.
Case. Yeah, absolutely. For people who are in your purchase funnel right now that you're trying to close something with a TCA, absolutely. That's a great example of an opportunity to use testimonial in a powerful way.
Yeah, well played, and having it, somewhere in your email. I mean, I do see some mortgage professionals just overplay their email signature to the point where it's too much, one of the things I've learned in marketing, too many call to actions is no call to action. So, and I'm not here to say don't put them in your signature, because I do see some where it's done well. I just see some to where it's like there's so many call to actions, there's none. Brittany, anything else? Because I want to add one more idea and then see if you have a play on it. I absolutely believe, because I've been to a number of Social Survey events, we want them on social media. We want to have them online so that if they can improve your search history, great. If people look you up and they see how many reviews we have, great. But anything else come to mind in terms of just best practices to build super fans with testimonials and recommendations?
Well, I love your idea of having it in the email signature. Have fun with it, right? One of the ways that you're going to win is by being authentically you. So I always say to people, nobody's ever going to out you. Think about what it is that's going to make people fans of working with you. When you strip away all of the other things that they could get from someone else, what is it that they can't get from anybody else? Like, what is it about you that's going to make people absolutely adore you and want to work with you? Figure that out. Hone your why. And once you have it, totally lean into it and totally use your personality around it. So like if you want to have your testimonials in your email signature, maybe, the link says street cred, or maybe it says, rumor mill, or what people are saying, or word on the street. Like there's ways to have fun with it, and make it, again, accessible in a way that feels authentic to you. So people are going to find it. And, absolutely, you should be collecting them. I don't want anybody's takeaway to be testimonials are wrong or marketing around testimonials is wrong. The same way with the Chick-fil-A. Like I think everybody who was involved in that Chick-fil-A spot, their hearts were probably in the right place, right? They said, we're going to highlight that we care more than other fast food restaurants, and B, we're going to shine a light on some of these franchisees who are doing a great job. And my main objection with it is, as you said, it becomes much less authentic when the brand is telling the story versus letting it be something that went viral on its own because somebody shared in a Facebook message about an incredible experience they had. And then, it's like I said, it just feels like it's not, when you get a great testimonial, it's your story and it's somebody else's story, right? It's this, like the middle of the Venn diagram. It's like where your story and their story intersected. And the more you share it and the more you use it for things without them sharing it, it becomes like a marketing ploy, right? It feels less personal to that other person, that person who you're in a relationship with, the satisfied customer that you've had. So the real value, and where, Social Survey, I'm sure, has amazing best practices around, is getting that other person to help talk about how great you are. Let them share it on social media. Lean into that.
I love it. Well, I hope to see you on more stages. I was super bummed that I didn't get to make it to the Engage conference, but maybe you'll get to speak at Sales Mastery this year. I'm going to advocate with Scott Harris, the CEO of Social Survey, to have you at their event. I'm going to tag those guys below. So shout out to Todd and Scott. You should, I don't know what she costs, but you should try to hire her to speak at your next event. Assuming you want to help your customers build superfans. And I do believe in the mortgage business, if you're local, you're referral based, you want to build superfans. So you need to follow Brittany. Brittany, for anyone who's listening to this and they want to make sure they're following you in all the right places, what do? Google you, what else?
Yeah, well, thank you, Todd and Scott. Call me. I appreciate the plug, Dave. People can follow me. I'm just at Brittany Hodak on every social network. If you want to send me a note, it's hello@brittanyhodak.com. And I've got an ebook that I'm very excited about that I'm going to be putting out probably early next week. That will be a free download. It's what I call my Superfan Wave method, which is all about how you can make your consumers feel welcomed, appreciated, validated, engaged, which we talked a little bit about the last time we spoke. So people can go back and watch that video too if they want a little preview.
Hopefully I'll put a link down below. So if you're watching this in YouTube, look at the comments down below the comments, click that little button and we'll have a link to that. If you like this, if you got any value from the conversation we just had, give us a like, ask us questions, and share it with your friends. Brittany, you rock. Can't wait till the next time.
Fist bump. Thanks, Dave. Talk soon.